And welcome to the Eye here in Fort Lauderdale for more SFL action here on this Saturday evening. It's week 7 here on the Virtual Football Network. Hello, folks. I'm Tyler Falk, joined in the booth by my broadcast partner, Alex West. Now, Alex, Mexico City and Florida both at 3 wins apiece this season. Mexico City running on a 3-game winning streak and a 4-game away winning streak as well. What can you tell us here about the Storm and the Aztecs as we head into week 7?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm kind of concerned about the Aztecs normally, but really they've been pasting their opponents with one exception, just that week 1 little blip, a little bit of a stumbling step on the first week back in the new season. Florida, however, has really been more than just a little bit shaky. Every single win they have is by 3 points or less. And they have some 2 rough losses. Minnesota losing to Minnesota at home by 1 touchdown, just barely that, and then dropping by almost 3 touchdowns to LA. It's something to watch as this Storm team and see if they can stabilize and right the ship.
Storm in their electric blues, Mexico City in their whites and greens. As here we go, we're underway here from Florida as the opening kickoff will be taken down. A touchback in their own end zone by Drew Bennett, and that is where Florida will set out their offense for the first time at their own 20-yard line, led by Isaac Covert. A chance for the Storm to get something going here. Last week, Covert 23 of 35. Good 65% completion percentage. 2 touchdowns thrown in the win versus Lexington. That first play is going to be a run up the middle. Nothing doing. Stopped up by the linebacker, John Osiris. Let's introduce you to the Storm offense, shall we? Isaac Covert is the man under center with Bullet Boletsky at tailback. Chris Komisak is the fullback. Art Vandelay, Mike Twinscrew, Shea Carroll are the wide receivers with Ron Haynes at tight end. And on the line, it's Joseph Wade and Greg McDonaldson at guard. Leave pitch right side, a chance for Komisak to do some damage. He picks up about maybe 5, maybe 6 yards.
And Komisak, a very reliable presence whenever he's in the backfield. They use him almost, and Bullet Boletsky almost interchangeably, really as a pair of thunder and lightning duo. He doesn't seem like a normal fullback how they use him.
Lighting apropos for the uniform choices today. Pass right side, caught near the 44-yard line. Covert hooks up with Twinscrew.
Covert looking very comfortable here in the pocket, and let me tell you, this has been something to watch. The former Corsair really looking at home in his new confines.
Last pass to Twinscrew going for a total of 18 yards, courtesy of our statisticians tonight, Ron Haynes and Eddie Gage. So a brand new set of downs. There'll be another run here on first down, and Komisak hard charging forward through the defensive line for a gain of 4. And that Mexico City defense lines up as follows. Saron Yates, the 4, Skylar Kingsley, Chance Wall, and Dan Tritz are the defensive linemen. John Fowler, Qualtzino Leah, and John Osiris are the linebackers with Gerard Brody, Neandra Dumas, Leon Ryan, and Eric Itera at corner. Max Jackson and Jeffrey Deggs round out the defensive stars at safety, as this time it's Thomas getting the call, and he will pick up the first time here for Florida.
Don't look now, the Storm are already at midfield, past midfield on the logo, and moving with no signs of slowing down.
Another run here near side. This is Bullet Boletsky. He gets about 3, and this Florida drive that opens up the game is working out rather well, getting closer and closer past midfield now. Split backfield now here for Covert. Another run, another Komisak run, and this run game through the middle right now is gashing the Aztec defense.
And not normally something we see them getting bullied at. This front 7 is normally quite stout.
Top 3 in terms of average yards against a game so far this young season. Only on average 65 yards a game as Thomas to the outside to the 28-yard line. Nifty little stretch play. They've been hitting up the middle play after play here, Alex, and now do they go to the outside?
And not only do they go to the outside, it's some incredible blocking on the edge. Wide receiver absolutely manhandling the cornerback that allows Komisak to get out into the flat so quickly and with ease.
High formation, covert, right side, open receiver is there, and Art Vandelay will get them inside the red zone for the first time tonight.
And this doesn't even feel like an instance where they needed to throw the football, but they were definitely throwing to keep the defense honest to some degree, because run after run after run, you keep moving the chains pretty effectively. At some point, they're going to start calling stuff to keep the box packed, and that is your opportunity to hit them over the top.
Offset single back now here for the Storm. Another run for Komisak, this time knocked up near the line of scrimmage. That is the Hall of Famer Jeffrey Daggs.
And at last, as the field finally shrinks down, they're inside the red zone. Finally, the Aztecs are standing tough on a play.
High formation as try and send some people down the box, but Valetsky just runs right by Liam Ryan, who was creeping up from his about 8-yard step drop on the right-hand side, and nothing that Mexico City could do about it.
And really, you've got Florida has them on their heels, on the skidding, wondering what to do about it. This is only 2 plays that they have gained 3 or less yards so far this drive.
6 yards away from Pater, less than a yard from picking up one more first down here on this drive.
How far back the coverage is.
Another run, Thomas stops up, just a half-yard shy of the line to gain. Qualzinho Leah is there, and decision time here for Florida. They will try out Ethan Snead to try and tack home a field goal.
Oh, and what could have been, Ethan Snead is happy to get his numbers up, but at what cost? Not getting 7 whenever you have such an incredible drive going from one side of the field to the other, only to stall out right before you can get to the goal to go. Oh, it hurts the heart.
And for defense that was struggling there on that drive there, Alex, Mexico City able to stop on the 3rd and short to get them off the field. And still Florida able to come away with points. It's 3-0 here in the early going, as Mexico City will now have a chance to respond. Here on this kickoff, Dumas gets out of a tackle, bounce the outside, out of a few more tackles. It's a fun.
My goodness!
It's all alone, and just like that, Mexico City are going to jump out in front in less than a blink of an eye.
Are you kidding me? I literally looked away for half of a second just to check my coffee levels, and all of a sudden I look up and he's in open space. One move and he's gone. How fast is this man?
Fast enough to outrace everybody down the sideline for Dumas' 3rd career kick return touchdown. That sees him also go over 1,000 yards in terms of kick return yards. And without putting a single yard on offense, Mexico City go up 7-3 with this extra point from Chaz Blackwater. Aztecs, they come roaring back.
Let me tell you, I feel like almost, not all of it, but almost all of the energy in the stands just was immediately sucked out of the room. This is one of those moments where you're just like, what? What?
And trying to do a little bit of magic of their own. Drew Bennett now trying to go through the middle of everybody and unable to escape that time, as Florida will now start on their own 24-yard line. And another chance here after a short rest of the sidelines here, Alex, for them to put up some more points and maybe get closer, maybe take the lead back. One thing's for certain, both this offense and the Mexico City defense are tired after that long, grueling drive of 12 plays just a few seconds ago. And, well, tailback, nothing doing. John Follow there on the stop at the line of scrimmage.
And that is the only time that we have seen a play from Florida so far that didn't go for at least positive yardage. Big statement by Mexico City to start this drive.
Try and pitch out right. Thomas sack hit once by Max Jackson, but then cleaned up by Gerard Brody.
And what a difference one single drive makes. The defensive coordinators must have seen and figured and felt something out and given some specific instructions, because almost immediately it's a completely different team out there.
Trips near side on 3rd and long here for Covert. First 3rd and long in the ball game. He'll roll near side, gets rid of it into kite coverage. Incomplete. Tip of the cap there to Merrick Itera, forcing a quick 3 and out.
Itera really looking for the ball there. He had such perfect positioning and inside leverage on that one. There was no chance that that was going to be anything other than a deflection or interception. Itera really would have loved to have interception number 70, though.
Grippa's punts away into this headwind here in Fort Lauderdale, and, well, look at that. Trying to make another play. Dumas unable to make that one break out for any more yards. Maybe a little tired from that kick return touchdown just a few seconds ago. And now for the first time tonight, we will see the Aztec offense led by Jordan Sipe. No touchdowns or interceptions last time out, but did enough to help keep the ball moving down the field. It was much more a run-focused attack there for Mexico City as they were able to take the win last week against Bossier City, 19-14. Pitch out left side to begin the day is a good one, and Bentley all the way past the first down marker on his first touch of the game, and it's an 11-yard pickup.
Bentley just saying, man, I've had so much time to get comfortable and loosen up. When am I going to see the football? He finally does, and he just goes.
For those just joining us and wondering why Bentley's wearing a different colored helmet than the rest of his teammates, that's just signifying here in Mexico City that he's a Hall of Famer. You saw that earlier with Jeffrey Daggs, and you'll see a few more of those as well throughout the game. As the Aztecs go to work, they'll officially mark it a 12-yard pickup for Bentley on that pitch. Now they try and go up the middle with Jacob Morrison, the yin to Bentley's yang here in the tailback department. He picks up 7 as we touch on the rest of the offense. Buford Van Dam is the fullback there in the backfield. Jason Bartley, Anas Adobe, Noe Terrazas, and Gerard Dumas are the wideouts. Bill Henry's the lone tight end with Ogden Foundy, Garrett Forrest, Tlatoani Supremo, Oveyanda, and Sitlamina Osiloto on the line as here's another run. This is BVD. Buford Van Dam, the fullback, gets the give and gets up another first down for the Aztecs.
I tell you, Buford Van Dam looking like a bowling ball out there. He is a big man, 6'4", 255, and it's a lot of mass that moves pretty quick.
He's pretty difficult to bring down when he gets going, as here comes another pitch here for Bentley. Only 2 yards, stopped up rather quickly by Ryan Tobert, a long-standing member of the Storm defense. 16 seasons in the league, all with Florida, and he partners alongside Deontay Stoneville, Alessandro Tamaello, and Pete Mitchell on the defensive line. Tobin is the middle linebacker with Jesus Smith on the outside. Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Adam Jones in the corners with Andrew Francis and Daniel Wright at safety, and plays off again. A very dangerous back. So hard to bring down. Another first down.
And it's one of the Bentley is one of those backs that one man alone cannot do it. One defender is not enough. You have to get at least one more helper there on the scene, or else he's just going to put you on a poster. He's made a whole career out of it.
3 wide here, and another first down. They go on the ground. Morrison through the left hash marks, and he's dragged out by multiple Storm. Only a gain of 3.
Florida really struggling to put the Aztecs behind the chains right now. I'd love to see them pack the box.
7 defenders here. One of the outside linebackers shifting toward the weak side. Another run, another Bentley run, out of the tackle, and he's home free! Touchdown, Mexico City. It's a 2-score ball game.
just straight up bully ball with that kind of football call right there. This is a smash concept that that Bentley sees an opportunity to bounce to the outside, does, and knows deep in his bones that one Storm defender is not going to be enough. So he doesn't run from the contact in the slightest. He looks for the shortest path to the end zone. God help whoever's in his way.
Extra point is up and good. 14-3 Mexico City. They're a very quick 7-play, 57-yard drive culminating in that Bentley touchdown. And, well, today's ball game right now here, Alex, is shaping up to be, right as it's speaking, very by the book. Mexico City coming into the game 3-1 on the back of a very good win streak. Florida, they've had some ups and downs this season. They're really looking for consistency, not together back-to-back wins. And I say all that to say here, Alex, the last two games here today did not go according to plan. Oklahoma City knocks off Charleston 37-30, and Minnesota falls to Denver in a tumultuous Central Division shakeup that sees Minnesota fall to the bottom of the Central Division. Here, as we close in on the halfway point of the regular season, here comes another run here for Comisac. Yolia there on the tackle.
And something about the air this weekend has just had all kinds of interesting and just vicious results, right? This has been one to remember in terms of looking at the total scoreboard. Either it's been a close one and you haven't expected the result, or it's been ugly.
Press coverage, Thomas on the pitch. Gaining a few more yards here for Florida. That'll make third down a lot easier than the last time they were on third down.
Much, much easier. 4 yards gives you the whole playbook to still work with.
I formation and 3 wide. 4-man rush here for Mexico City, and that is caught.
Oh my!
With Max Jackson's right behind him, and Vandalay gonna flip the field, but there's a flag. They're going to call block in the back on Florida.
Man.
Take it all the way back. Heartbreaker early.
And they're going to call it on the guard, one of the two that the Florida has, the other contracted guard, Greg McDonaldson, 3-time All-Star, making this great play get called back.
Deflating penalty to end the first quarter. It's 14-3 Mexico City. Aerial coverage of today's game is brought to you by Drags DroneWorks, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. A look at downtown Fort Lauderdale, and we send all of our thoughts to the East Coast after dealing with Hurricane Aaron and that storm surge that came by here, especially those islands out in North Carolina. Hope everybody's doing okay that lives there on the East Coast, and nothing too crazy has happened in your neck of the woods. Second quarter here from the Eye. I'm Tyler Falk. He's Alex West. SFL on VFN here for you in week 7. This pass over the middle looking for Vandalay. Nearly got all 17 yards, but it's in and out of his hands after the hefty hit.
And that's twice looking to Vandalay. That would have been an incredible back-to-back catches. I don't care that one of them didn't count. Vandalay did all the hard work to get an incredible production out of that, despite a miscue by one of the Florida Storm's linemen. It doesn't matter. That was still an impressive play to me.
Hunt is on its way. A disappointing drive, to say the least, and Dumas is going to get a catch, but they are going to throw a flag. He was hit as he hauled that in. That's catch interference. Tack on a few extra yards.
And the flag's coming out. The refs are really looking to impose a sense of order on this game, because this is just chaos out here. Florida needing to get themselves together after a couple of real questionable flags on their part of the equation.
It's one of the very few times I've seen fair catch interference called here in the SFL. And it's back-to-back whammies for Florida, just not being disciplined here at home as Bentley gets a couple of key blocks. Another big run for Mexico City, and Florida is reeling.
And it really comes down to what's happening in these one-on-one moments. The receivers for Mexico City are sealing these edges, are winning their blocks one-on-one. Florida is not consistently winning those initial blocks in the line of scrimmage, and Ray Bentley is good to break at least one tackle.
Offset eye here behind Jordan Sipe. He'll hand off again. This time Morrison met up quickly by Jesus Smith for a loss of 1.
Smith doing a great job there of waiting and lurking, waiting to fill the gap until he sees exactly which way the runner is committed.
Bentley now in the box. The D-line wisely shifted to the outside as Sipe quickly gets rid of it. Nice catch by Bartley, and that's another Aztec first down.
And this Aztec receiving core is just riddled with talent, right? Just blessed up and down the entire squad. This is a play where Jordan Sipe is dead to rights. The rollout bought him a little extra time, but the slide protection gave Florida almost a straight shot right at him, and Sipe just has to heave almost as soon as he looks upfield. This is a one-handed leaning catch.
Try and run with Bentley right side. He rolls over Alessandro Tamayo for a gain of 2.
Florida really wants to stiffen up here on second down and not give up any easy yards.
Leaving the middle of the field kind of wide open, and instead Smith is there. He came from about 8 yards back, flew into that gap to stop Morrison.
Well, it looked like a nickel concept where both the linebackers were playing well back, but with the intent to come downhill with a head of steam if they got any inkling of a run.
Great play call there from Florida, and it brings up third down. Mexico City have had no trouble so far throughout this game picking up first downs. 5-man rush. Sipe gonna tuck it and run, and he's gonna be just a couple yards short. Had to slide to protect himself, and it's 4th and 2. Out comes the field goal unit and Ethan Snead. Or it should be Chaz Blackwater. My apologies.
Blackwater looking to do just a little chip shot here from the left hash.
Similar spot we saw Snead make it from. That's the reference I was looking for. But another 7-play drive and another field goal good there from Blackwater. He has done a fantastic job this season. A perfect 10 for 10 now on the season.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He's one of the more reasons in my mind that Mexico City is able to score as many points as they are with such ease, because he offers that guarantee of, hey, just get to the 30-yard line or so and I've got you with 3 on a minimum. You don't have to be too aggressive.
Another flag coming, and that return by Mays. Left-hand side, nothing doing. Are they going to call another clipping? Second block in the black call tonight on Florida. And we haven't even hit halftime yet.
And just on the side, who do you blame more? Do you have a word with the offensive line coach? Do you have a word with the special teams coach? Because it doesn't matter which one of them. Yell at both of them. That's just unacceptable.
What I will say is Max Jackson maybe playing some mind games with the center. They have a center out there blocking. I digress, but he has enough speed to run in front of the guy and then just sit there. So I don't blame Matt Burke for doing that. High formation fullback handoff. Comisac, 4 yards, as the drive kicks off with a pretty decent run.
I've only seen Florida bust out the I formation a few times here. I think they're trying to make sure that Comisac doesn't get too tired with lead block duties.
2 tight end split back pitch, left side for Thomas. Good blocking downfield. That's a brilliant play and one they might want to go back to.
And what worked here this time, where this play has backfired for Florida before, it's not just the blocks setting the edges, although look at the incredible work standing his man up by Teron Haynes on that one to set the edge. It is the fact that they set up the outside run with an inside run first.
And that's Haynes in at the #1 wide receiver spot on the outside, getting a little extra blocking downfield as they go with Komisek again through the middle. And that's another short pickup of about 3 or 4.
And what they're getting back to, that I like what they were doing on the first drive that they failed to do after that, was mixing up where they're sending the football and how they're doing it.
Get this similar formation from the pitch out, and they try and do it again, but this time Mexico City's alive to it, and Osiris is there to stop Thomas for a 2-yard loss.
Given too many of the same looks, ends up like that with a defense like this. You've got too many all-stars up and down this defensive front to be trying that kind of stuff.
Covert gonna roll here on 3rd down, looking near side, caught by Carroll, and he gets the 1st down, turned upfield just in time.
The spotting on that one by the line judge, I'm not going to question it, but oh man, I would not be surprised to see a red hanky after that one. That was close.
Aztecs head coach Ramos Lynn gonna keep that flag in his pocket for now, and Florida's drive will continue. Komisek, nothing doing, bottled up right in the A gap. His followers there among others.
Florida having a really hard time pushing against this defensive front from Mexico. They're really having a tough time in the trenches.
Give them a gain of 1, and they go here on 2nd and 9. Another run through the middle. Boletsky, maybe another 3 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 6.
And an important 3rd down here. You're on the edge of field goal range if you're within it at all. Oh no, we're on the wrong side of the field. I thought we were on the opposite 40 for a second.
Trips left side here for Covert. Gonna need a big play. 4-man rush, middle, caught. His go-to man, Art Vandalay, is there to move the chains.
The ever-reliable Art running a post route over the middle here finds himself in a soft spot in the zone, and that is one that Isaac Covert does not have the license to miss. He's got too much riding on him to be missing those throws. He delivers a strike right when he needs it.
Covert, quick drop, looking over the right side. It's Vandalay again. Another 1st down to near the 35-yard line. A pickup of 13.
Give Vandalay an inch of space and he will make it an entire 2 yards out of just sheer willpower. That man has straight line burst speed and hands that are among the most reliable in the league.
Another 1st down, a stat line in which Florida's winning is those total yards category, but the more can get all the yards you want, but need points. Is Komisek, good little hurdle. He gets over the tackler, but unfortunately the man who came up with a tackle, Max Jackson, the starting strong safety, is on the turf.
And you hate to see it. It's one of those moments where the whole stadium gets just a little bit more quiet, because Max Jackson is a serious contender for this defense, but you never like to see someone on the turf unable to get off.
And I wonder who they've got coming in behind him. Tyrone Carter, the backup strong safety, is 5'8". That's a whole... I want to say a whole 7-inch difference between Max Jackson and Tyrone Carter. Jackson 6'3", Carter 5'8", and that run going for maybe a couple more yards, and now it's 3rd and 4, another opportunity for Mexico to get off the field, but Florida ain't quitting.
No quit in this Storm team, not in front of the home crowd especially.
Haynes in motion to the left side. He goes out through a pass, looking for it, but it's bobbled, and Fowler nearly picked it. Instead, it falls to the turf, and they do get off the field, and Florida will be forced to try and hit a field goal.
and nearly picked off. There was an opportunity for Fowler to snatch that one from the air and start taking it the other way. What could have been.
Snee to try his second field goal of the night. It's up, and it is true and good. 17-6 now. Another long drive, 13-play drive here for Florida. Both their scoring drives have lasted longer than 10 plays, but they've only had field goals to show for it.
And that especially is demoralizing whenever you have seen your defense give up a touchdown, and you've also had an instance where your special teams just let through one of those plays that you just haunt you. You're so far behind the 8 ball to have to settle for 3 again is just wind out of your sails.
That kick is going to go out of the back of the end zone, down for a touchback, and well, it has been a while. Well, we've been reminding you all season, we'll continue to remind you that it's super simple to smash that like button and help the channel out. We just crossed the 8,500 subscriber mark, so subscribe if you haven't already so you'll never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. Thanks for your support of the Virtual Football Network and the SFL. Bentley on the call right side. Spins out of a couple tackles, but then is dragged down from behind after picking up 5.
Bentley is just really looking to leave his mark on this running game. The numbers so far are staggering. 7 yards, 58 carries. Look at that, 8.3 yards per carry right now. Unbelievable stuff.
Having a solid day on the ground. Well on his way to maybe eclipsing 100 yards. Buford Van Dam, the call now on a fullback dive. Picking up yards closer to the first down marker. He'll be just a yard shy.
Mexico City already doing what I call some savvy clock management by deciding to run the football early, just taking us to the 2-minute warning.
And they won't get the playoff in time. Mexico City have the lead. It's an 11-point lead, 17-6 your score line. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. You're watching the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. Big 3rd and 1 coming up now here for the Aztecs. 8 men in the box for the Storm. They smell a run. And instead it's a sipe sneak through the middle. And it's a first down. Caught the Storm defense by surprise.
And that's a unique thing that they let Jordan Sipe get away with, because he's so slight. He's 5'11", 215, unnormally small for a quarterback in the league.
Try and pitch now with Bentley, and this time Florida is all over it. No gain, maybe even a loss on the play.
Big stand up there after giving up the first down. They instead forced the loss of 1 here. 2nd and 11. Now you just got to make some good defending plays on passing downs.
Bunch formation near side. Sipe gonna roll. Blocker is picked up, but not that time. Intercepted by the Storm. Andrew Francis comes up with it, and they're in business.
Finally, a break for the Storm. We were wondering when they were going to actually stop Mexico cold, because this was going to get ugly if they didn't, and what a reversal of fortunes. Mexico City forced to go away from the run because Florida sniffed it out and blew it up on the first down. First long situation they face as Mexico, and this is takeaway.
Second interceptor of the season, now tying his teammates Evan Carroll, Adam Jones, and Daniel Wright. Each all now with 2 interceptions for the Storm this season. Covert, quick hitter to Vandelay. That'll pick up a couple more yards, and they'll call a timeout. They do have to kick the ball away at the to begin the second half here, Alex. So the emphasis on getting points here is crucial to keep those momentum going into halftime.
Not only that, you really need to get 6 here. Going from 11 to 8 doesn't feel any better.
Does bring it down to a 1-score game pending a 2-point conversion, but anywhere closer at this point would help. Pass is knocked aside, incomplete.
I think that Covert is really feeling the pressure from this 4-man pass rush that is cracking that protection, that is putting pressure on the pocket. He is having to move. He is having to get the ball out faster than he would like to.
3rd and 7 now here for the Storm. Covert changed the play at the line from the Aztecs 34-yard line. 4-man rush. Covert left side. It is incomplete. Covert tried to fit it in there, but couldn't outsmart Meandra Dumas.
And it's such a narrow lane that you have to find, and you have to actually skim that ball across, right? You have to throw it high enough that the linebacking core and the corner underneath can't actually just snatch it from the sky. But you have to keep it low enough that your receiver can get it. Otherwise, the safety over the top is just going to snag it.
51-yard attempt is up and good, and they do cut it down to a score. An 8-point lead now only here for Mexico City, as the Aztecs now have 3 field goals on the night. And that kickoff will be taken down for a knee in the end zone, as Ethan Sneed now is only 2 field goals away from becoming only the 2nd kicker in SFL history to reach 300 made field goals in a career. So a number we didn't necessarily expect to hit, but one that he is inching ever closer and is on pace to hit tonight. Aztecs now with an eye. It'll be a delayed handoff here for Bentley, and he's stood up and then hit hard in his back. And the Aztecs will elect to let this clock run. So barring anything unusual, the Aztecs will go into the halftime here up by 8.
Speaking of Ethan Sneed, just for a second, on that 51-yarder, he just put himself in a 3-way tie for the longest made field goal of the season so far, along with Sonny J of Houston and Joe Garfield over in Queen City.
Orson there on the give, clock continuing to run, but they're still not electing to pull up stocks here, pull up the chocks and get out of here. They want to run one more play before we hit halftime. 4 wide receivers, and Snipe gonna look to pass. It's just a flip out there to Bentley on the outside. He's taken down hard by Adam Jones. The clock hits 000s for no gain, and we now go into the locker room with the Aztecs up 17-9. And one thing I can say here, Alex, is that Florida has remained consistent for the offense. They've yet to give up a mistake on offense, which has kept, they're hanging around, but they need to come up with touchdowns more often than field goals, unless they can find 3, maybe even 4 more field goals in the second half.
And that also relies on Florida's defense becoming lockdown tight and completely pitching a shutout here in the second half, right? Mexico City's offense is entirely too explosive for you to count on that as even a remote possibility. They're 2nd in the league in terms of points away at 23 points a game. Looking at the Aztecs' overall defense as well, this is not a good sign. Aztecs are only allowed 12 points a game right now, so this is going to be such a tough road to climb.
And welcome you back here to the Eye. Coming out of the halftime break, I'm Tyler Falk. He's Alex West, and we had a good one going here, and we've had a lot of good games going throughout the week. We talked about the earlier block with Oklahoma City and Mexico City taking on the win, but if you missed Friday's action, here's a quick look at those scores. Vancouver falls to Houston 17-10. The Headhunters on a charge as of late. Arizona taking down Bossier City 24-14. Queen City blanks the Carolina Skyhawks 24-zip. And Los Angeles was just enough, 29-31 to Sin City, as the Samurai pick up another win, and Los Angeles still cannot find their way to better pastures, as another good return here from Dumas up past his 20-yard line, closing in on his own 35.
And there's just something that I think that really draws the eye for me whenever I look at how these two teams stack up on paper that really I think is reflective of how this game is going. And it's that Florida versus Mexico City. You look at what's going on in the trenches. You see how many more linemen the Aztecs have on both sides of the football. It sticks out.
Only 3 passing attempts in the first half here for Jordan Sipe. We have seen 18 rushing attempts for the Aztecs already. And here's another one, number 19. Good little spin. He just keeps doing stuff like that. Another 10-plus yard run on first down.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mexico City with 5 linemen and a tight end, Bill Henry, as well as some rather large wide receivers out there. Noe Terrazas at 6'6" comes to mind, against 3 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers.
What's more impressive, he's got 67 yards tonight. 48 of those has come after first contact. He lives and breathes to hit the hole and get hit and keep on churning and running. 2-yard pickup there from his counterpart, Morrison, as he's taken down by Andrew Francis. Bentley again in the backfield. 3 wide receivers here for Sipe if they try and do something else, and they try and run with Bentley, and he is wrestled to the ground after a 5-yard gain.
And he picks up like an extra 2 yards just from leaning and wrestling forward against 2 guys. Are you kidding me?
High formation now here for the Aztecs on 3rd down. They have done a stellar job on 3rd down for the most part this season, but today, and Sipe gets clattered. Daniel Wright trying to take his head off.
Ooh, I felt that one from here. You could hear the crunch and the crack. My goodness.
And even though they chop the offense, Ramos is going to throw the challenge flag because he believes his quarterback got there before Wright did. And so we will go under the hood for a replay. This could be either an Aztec first down or they lose a timeout.
So close here, and we're not getting a sideline cam either. I'm just going to, oh, here we go. Let's see. Where's the football? Oh, the yellow line is just a simulation, folks. That could be anywhere. Bring out the chains.
And Mexico City will lose a timeout. Marked a half a football yard shy. My goodness. Not the outcome the Aztecs were looking for. Do they still try out the offense, though? They do.
They do. The width of a fly's hair short. Of course they want that.
We've seen Sipe run it here the last couple times this formation was called. He does it again. Picks up over 5 yards before taking another hit. And that's an easy 4th down conversion. Might have just wanted to run that before throwing the challenge flag.
I understand why they pulled the trigger on it. It's one of those higher risk plays that if you can get a conversion without having to risk the 4th and short blowing up in your face, you do it.
We've seen run after run after run. 5 straight runs here for the Aztec offense on this drive, make it 6. And this one going for 2 as Smith is there with the stop. Wash, rinse, repeat, do it again. Morrison offset, single back to Sipe's right. And you get the pitch out that way. Good blocking for the wide receivers. He's out of 1 tackle, and Wright can't get to him in time before he picks up yet another first down.
Jacob Morrison really showing that he's not just behind Ray Bentley for show. He's actively watching and learning. That is vintage, spinning off the contact, using that momentum to kind of just let it push you back a yard or 2 so you can keep churning upfield. You'll get it back with your legs.
Comes a run, nothing doing. Bentley meeting up with Ryan Tobin in the backfield, and Tobin wins that battle.
And Tobin unblocked coming around the edge there, just with a full head of steam. Bentley just gets caught there like a deer in headlights.
Another run here for Bentley, spinning around, maybe spun around 3 times. He's put into a spin cycle himself on the hit and only able to pick up maybe a couple yards. 3rd and 9 now here for the Aztecs.
Passing down if they want to try and pick up the first, but honestly, if they decided to go conservative and just center the ball for their kicker, go ahead, I don't blame you.
Just 1 3rd down conversion for the Aztecs today. Looking for number 2 here. 5 defenders, send some pressure. Pass over the middle is caught, but Dumas can't turn up the field in time. Tackle from behind, and the Aztecs will try to settle here for a field goal. Darrell Green in on the tackle there for Florida to send out the field goal unit.
And I will give credit where credit is due. Florida's defense has held overall Mexico City to 1 and 5 on 3rd down, but they have given up 2 4th down conversions short to those QB sneaks from sight, so they're willing to play with fire on that.
And that's the 2nd field goal made of the ball game there for Chaz Blackwater, and it's now 20-9. It's back out to an 11-point lead just before the Florida defense was able to get them off the field. You're watching Simulation Football League action here on the Virtual Football Network. This week on VFN, SFL Week 7 is on here for the last half of the night with these final 2 games of the weekend before culminating with more action on Monday with the Monday Night Spectacular, and the UFL's final 2 weeks of the regular season continue Sunday and Wednesday. No other network gives you more football. The SFL lives on VFN. There's a handoff through the middle, and Boletsky gets the call. It's a good 6-yard gain here from Florida. They do like going to more of these long-form drives, and down only by 2 scores here, Alex. Still can keep running your offense as you would want to.
No doubt about it. This is very much an open playbook situation. I'd love to see a shot down the field.
Split backfield. Ron Haynes out there at wide receiver, and that ball pops free. Florida can't recover. Aztecs do. Jeffrey Day is credited with the forced fumble, and the Aztecs take over in plus field position.
And it just felt like something was about to happen. The energy in the air was just electric because there were 8 Aztecs all stacked in that box. It feels like a whole defense knew to just clog the middle of the field, and they pounced on that ball as soon as it was live.
Already within field goal range again. From the Florida 28, back to the ground game. Bentley left side with a defender all over him. Give him 9.
Too easy, all too easy. Mexico City's offense is now in an extremely short yardage situation, and Ray Bentley is clearly personally offended that they have had to kick this many field goals. He wants more touchdowns.
Mexico City right around 130 rushing yards today. Florida is a top 5 rushing defense this season, only averaging 86 yards a game, but Buford Van Dam, when you're giving up nearly 10 yards on the ground to a fullback, something is clearly wrong with their running defense.
I'm telling you this now. They are going to eclipse 200 yards this quarter, and they are going to eclipse 250 by the time this game is over, if they can get one more chance at the football. This is just clinical work by this offensive line.
Saw it earlier, only 17 yards passing for Mexico City tonight. And Bentley again, this time only stopped after a couple yards, but man, Sipe has just been able to play a little bit of Joe Flacco and be handoff simulator tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if Joe Flacco is the word. This is getting Kerry Collins level of hand the football off.
Wash, rinse, repeat. Van Dam pulling and bruising his way forward. He's just outside the goal line.
I'm incredulous that they didn't give that to him with how some of these spots have been. I thought for sure he would cross the plane. Instead, golden chance for the gold helmet.
Aztec side diving touchdown. Mexico City strike again, turning back the clock. And the Florida Storm are just helpless to do anything.
Truly, with that one, it feels like they not only are they turning back the clock, they're turning this game into a rout. Since the second half, they have really been enforcing their own will on this football game. They have not been giving any inch of hope to the home crowd, and I am just astonished they have this much energy still in them.
Kick is up and good, 27-9 our score line, and this looks almost eerily similar to a game that these guys played in season 19, only just 2 meetings ago, where Mexico City handed Florida Storm their worst loss in terms of when Florida was playing on the road, when they just trounced the Storm 56-6. Now, I don't think it'll get out to that level of disaster, but right now with only single digits on the board for Florida, something's got to change in a hurry.
Essentially come up with some sort of game plan that's going to put points on the board and fast.
High formation, Covert looking near side, looking for Haynes, nothing doing. Haynes had tried to twist and turn his body back for the football, just couldn't hang on.
I think they're trotting Haynes out there at that X receiver spot to try and generate those size mismatches against the smaller corners, but these Mexico City corners are not your average fellas on the wide. They eat their Wheaties.
Twins screw the man in motion to the near side. Running the arrow across the middle, and that pass from Covert went directly to Fowler's hands, and that's the second time tonight he couldn't haul on an interception.
Lurking, waiting, wishing he had another shot at it. This isn't even the first time, like you mentioned, that he's had this kind of opportunity at a football. We'll see if he gets another one and if he'll let that one slip too. Covert's getting desperate.
Trips now to Covert's right. 4-man blitz coming. Covert gets a block, standing tall, firing, it's off the back plate. Oh, the defender in coverage, that's Gerard Brody. Looking for Carroll for the second time on the drive, and the drive stalls yet again.
Covert really doing everything he could, trying to extend the play a little bit with his legs. He knows he's not fast enough to just go and run for that first down, even with how much coverage there was downfield. So he stands tall, delivers a strike as best he can, just not enough mustard on that hot dog.
Third 3 and out forced by this Aztec defense tonight, as Florida still trying to figure something out. And I wouldn't really say this is definitely not the worst start to a season that Mexico City has, or excuse me, Florida has had, but I have never seen in my time here with the SFL a Florida team that's very much not streaky. They either go on a little bit of a winning streak to make the postseason, or they're always winning. This whole win-loss little stretch that they've been on this season is completely foreign to me. I don't know about you, Alex, as Bentley gets 7 yards on first down.
Well, it's definitely a novel concept. I joined the league back in season 21. You know, they were the champs at that. They were back. That was their first year of 2 back-to-back championships. Last season, I think it really surprised everyone how they were 4-2 in the first half of the season, and then lost 4 more games to end the season at 6-6. And this is kind of the same energy that we're getting. It's just, instead of it being a second half shake apart, it's just that the plane is having problems even getting in the air right now.
A lot of inconsistencies of this team. I have no doubt that Mighty and company here in Fort Lauderdale are going to try and work out, and dealing without a Hall of Fame quarterback in Ron Cochran, and a lot of the key depth that they've had for so many seasons. It's just not been the same Florida Storm team. Losing to the likes of Los Angeles early in the season is another game that comes to mind, that just one you would never expect a Florida team to ever do. Is this running game is maybe starting to slow down as Florida able to come up with another quick stop near the line.
And, all respect to Mighty, he's got 2 rings. This coaching staff understands what they're doing, but there's only so much game planning you can do whenever you're only starting 17 out of 22 starters. Look at him go!
All alone and into the house again. Jason Bartley, as the Aztecs forward on. Only the number 5th pass of the night for Jordan Sipe, and it goes for 6. 36 yards to the house for Bartley.
Just only 1 incompletion for Jordan Sipe, too, and it's an interception. 4 out of 5, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Who cares? Call him a game manager if you want. He steps up when the team needs him, and he delivers an absolute missile.
It's gotten ugly here in Florida. We're back underway here as the Storm going to try and figure something out here, at least on special teams. Bennett gets blown up at his own 21-yard line, 34-9. And right now, unless Florida can come up with any points, they right now are looking at their least amount of points scored at home. Before tonight, the least amount of points they scored was last season, and that was only 10 points versus the Albuquerque Adams on more than a year ago. Or not even more than a year ago, just half a year ago, this past March. Boletsky, 2 yards on the ground.
That we're also creeping up on the most points allowed, depending on exactly how much Mexico City manages to rack up in this final quarter of play. Still to come.
Carroll in motion to the near side as Covert going to look to throw. Has time, middle, and incomplete. In and out of Twinstrew's hands. And that brings up another 3rd down.
And these are some really difficult 3rd downs that Isaac Covert is now being asked to make. It's not just how many times he's being put in 3rd down situations. It's 3rd and how many. 3rd and longer than 5. 3rd and 7. 3rd and 8. 3rd and 9. We've seen too many of them tonight.
Pass middle, and somehow finding Vandalay in a sea of white as the Storm convert on 3rd and long.
Rolls out to his left, sees that the defenders are stepping slightly the wrong way, and delivers it exactly when he has the opportunity to. 1 second before, and that window isn't there. 1 second after, and it's already shut from the safety moving to cover him. That is just a brilliant throw.
Little twist stunts on the D-line, and that flip out to Boletsky, going to go losing the yards. We mercifully come to the end of the 3rd quarter. 34-9, Mexico City running away with it. Can Florida do anything to send these home fans home with a little bit of hope? This is the SFL Week 7 here on the Virtual Football Network. Don't forget, we got the Monday Night Spectacular coming up in just 2 nights' time. Cameron Irvine and Charles Duck, you'll have that call. Don't forget Cam and Mike St. Green will be there with the this week in the SFL as Carroll, the intended target this time, being covered by a linebacker, John Osiris. Rarely do you see a linebacker with that great coverage on a speedy wide receiver, but it comes out in the favor of the Aztecs this time. 3rd and long. Of course, recap the exciting Week 7 with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green on SFL this week before the Baltimore Vultures and DC Dragons renew their rivalry on this week's Monday Night Spectacular. Coverage starts at 7:15 p.m. Eastern as the SFL network, or the SFL lives on the Virtual Football Network. Covert going to look to pass across his body, looking for twin screw, incomplete.
And what a rough way to end the drive. 3rd and 11. He throws a ball that twin screw maybe could have gotten to, but with the defender draped all over him as the ball was arriving, that's just going to be too tough. You put it just a little too far out of his reach. Speaking of ugly numbers, sorry, let me give you an ugly stat line real quick, and then I'll throw it over to you.
Go for
Isaac Covert right now is averaging 4.3 yards per attempt through the air. Ray Bentley is averaging 5.3 yards per carry.
Oh my gosh. When just one player takes over, there's really nothing you can do to stop. And the fact that Covert is unable to really find his way down the field, that's just a testament to the secondary for Mexico City. And the pass rush has gotten home pretty well. They've only been sending 4, maybe 5, and really just backing off in coverage and really forcing the second season quarterback to find receivers in tightly contested windows. It's just proving difficult. Bentley gets the call right side, no gain. Tackled up near the line of scrimmage. We get a score update from Detroit. The Toros have the lead, but it's only a narrow lead, 10-6. Closing on the end of the first half up in the Motor City. Another run, Morrison meets up past the line of scrimmage with Andrew Francis and company. 2 yards for the Aztecs ground game, and here comes 3rd down.
Big 3rd down. Florida really wants to stop them here, especially with how deep Mexico is in their own half.
Blitz coming, side goes down. Finally, a change of pace from Florida's defense. Darrell Green gets home with a sack.
Not just signs of life, signs of resistance as he bends in, bends out, and swings around to finally find his way to make the hit. The unsigned, non-contract player coming up clutch.
Cale Barrett Jr. will punt this one away. First punt of the night for the Aztecs. And Trent's there with the takedown. Deep downfield at the 41-yard line as Florida's offense will get to work.
And this is an opportunity they cannot squander. Their defense forced a 3-and-out quickly, and they also forced it while giving them great field position to start with. You cannot walk away without points here.
Covert, twin screw on the shallow post. Picks up first down yardage, and quickly Florida's on the move.
And that's exactly the kind of energy that they need to continue bringing here. It's quick strikes, but not something that's instantaneous. Give just enough time to read the defense and make sure that a linebacker or a nickel corner isn't lurking in the way, but don't be afraid of these quick routes.
Seven men in the box here for the Aztecs. Try and go up the middle here at the run. Comisac dragging 2 defenders with them for 8 yards, and now they're well within field goal range.
What a rumbling run here. This is Comisac at his best, just doing everything he can to fight for extra yards. He doesn't care how many bodies there are on top of him. He's just going to keep his legs churning until he can't move anymore.
Heavy split back look here from the Storm. They try and go up the middle, but Mexico City is there. Thomas couldn't get away.
That gap just disappeared almost as soon as it was open. This is one of those exceptional defensive plays by the linebacker, just filling that gap.
They'll flip the formation on offense. Trying to pitch outside. Komisak. Bullying Jeffrey Daggs. Runs him over. First down, Storm.
Jeffrey Daggs on the sideline. They're going to replace his gold sticker with a red one after that. You are not happy with him after he gets bulldozed by the big man.
High formation, Boletsky, and here's a little bit of revenge here from Jeffrey Daggs after getting plowed over. He comes up with the stop here on the next play. Meanwhile, Fort Worth extending the lead, 13-6 now. Over there in Detroit. Another run, left side, Boletsky out of one tackle. Another gain of 4 here for the Storm. Another third down upcoming. Detroit driving here at the end of the second half. 15 seconds to go in that game. 13-6 still over in that game after a field goal within the 2-minute warning. Clock stopped over there with 13 seconds. And the Storm go to work here. Covert off his back foot. It's gonna be incomplete because Carroll was hit at the line, at the goal line, and that will put Florida at the goal line with 1st and goal at the 1.
Just a little too physical and making the move too soon on that one. You cannot hit the receiver before the ball arrives, and you cannot turn your head away from the football when you try to make these kinds of plays. That's an immediate flag. The refs have already established early on with some block in the back calls that they are not having it tonight. Finally, Mexico City finding themselves on the wrong end of one of these yellows.
And Detroit mess up the 2-minute drill. They run out the clock literally, and they go in the half 13-6 down to the Fort Worth Toros in Fort Worth. I apologize. Here's a heavy blitz coming from the other side. Boletsky showboating in. And they will not go quietly into the good night. They will not have their worst performance at home tonight, and they will get double digits on the scoreboard.
At last, and a sigh of relief, at least, from some of the record keepers as they realize that tonight is not a new indignity. But this is still not the performance that they wanted to have. There's an opportunity to really tighten things up if they manage a very quick defensive stop, but that relies on you stopping Ray Bentley. Can they do it? Stack the box, maybe.
Extra point is up and good, 34-16. Now the score here from Fort Lauderdale. Down by 18 points with 3-score game, if my maths are correct. Gonna have to do a lot here. Gonna come up with a couple of different stops to really force the issue. As right now, it's Mexico City's game to lose, and we have yet to see a clear mistake from this Aztec offense, apart from the one lone sack given up on the last drive.
And one interception. That's it.
And yeah, you're right. They do have the interception as well. So 2 blemishes. What's the third strike going to be as Carroll comes up with the stop? Because certainly if the Aztecs can continue running the football, this Florida defense is in trouble. They've had a very rough time stopping it tonight.
That's where it's going to have to come in. It's that predictability of how they're just going to be automatically running the football just to look and chew clock. But it's going to also require one of their runners, who are very sure-handed normally, to make a mistake and put the football on the ground. Florida needs a turnover, and they need it fast.
Morrison unable to pick up more than 2 yards as the Storm do clamp down there on the run. They're going to force Sipe to throw for only the 6th time tonight. Sipe rolling, gets rid of just in time, finds a man over the middle. That's caught by Noe Terrazas to move the chains and keep the clock rolling.
And that feels like the backbreaker, the dagger, if you will. It's not over until it's over, but this instance of two great stopping instances of Florida stopping the run, when that has been a bugaboo all night, forcing a 3rd and long, pass rush not being able to get home in time this time, and Sipe getting that 3rd down conversion hurts so much.
Heavy eye now here for the Aztecs. So they just let the clock run close to the 4-minute mark. BVD gets the call. Stiff arm. Buford Van Dam still rumbling, bumbling, stumbling 15 yards.
Too big, too tough, and just bulldozing his way forward because they have not had to call his name many times tonight except for blocking duty. So he's got plenty of energy to let off whenever he finally gets his chance to shine. Look at that average per carry. He wants to maximize every chance he gets with that football.
Aztecs going to take their time, and with a brand new set of downs, all chances, all opportunities, all probabilities for Florida to come back to this game, slowly slipping away, ebbing away with the time ticking down here in the game. Run through the middle. Good for a gain of 3 for the backup fullback BJ Askew. And for the Aztecs, they'll face divisional opponents back home south the border, the Albuquerque Adams, in week 8, before flying all the way up north for a championship rematch as they take on the Vancouver Legion before going into their bye week. Meanwhile, the Florida Storm, now that they might have a reprieve as they take on the struggling and distraught Carolina Skyhawks for their divisional opponent before heading into their week 9 bye week, as BVD gets tossed and turned and shoved backward a yard. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
And something to really note about just these two, about Mexico City's schedule, in my opinion, is outside of Vancouver, they don't have a whole lot of teams that you would consider looking particularly tough this year until you get to the very last game of the season against Houston. They have a lot of teams that are struggling right now in their back half of the season.
We've hit the 2-minute warning here in this one for the final time tonight, and well, we'll see what happens here. Can the Storm come up with maybe one more stop, or is Mexico City gonna walk this one back all the way home? Welcome back to the Eye. Tyler Falk and Alex West here on the call. Thank you so much for joining us here this Saturday evening. We know you could have spent your nights anywhere else, but we're glad that you started here with us, as the final run here on 3rd down is not going to get past the 1st down marker, and the Florida will call their first of 3 timeouts, and they will force the Aztecs to punt this one away. So still an opportunity now here for the Storm, but they're going to need a good play here on special teams, as Barrett's going to try and angle it toward the near sideline and really know where to go for Bennett. Did not elect to call for a fair catch and did not get the same kind of like that the Aztecs did. No fair catch interference, so they will be stopped at the 20-yard line.
I hate that decision to just let the Gunners have a free shot at you. It's stupid, it's risky, and that young man is going to be regretting that in 3 or 4 years after he does another few seasons of just taking those hits for free.
We'll see a flurry of passes more than likely here from Isaac Covert. And the first one is nearly picked by the backup strong safety Tyrone Carter, coming in for the earlier injured Max Jackson. He's made a few key plays tonight.
And it's such an inspiring look at that defense and how they're able to come together as a unit to make up for the loss of one of their more senior members, just by banding together than the next man up attitude that permeates this team top to bottom.
Meanwhile, over in Fort Worth, it is still a 13-6 ball game with Detroit driving at the Fort Worth 32. Covert, middle, caught by Vandalay in tight coverage, and they will call a timeout after picking up about 7 yards.
And not the kind of situation they want to be burning timeouts in either. They don't have very many to use. There's not much time on the clock, but frankly, they're out of options. These quick routes on one-on-one coverage to the wide receivers in the X and Y positions have not been successful for the most part.
Trips to the left, Covert with a 4-man rush coming at him, pass middle, looking for twin screw, incomplete, just a little bit outside his reach.
And let me tell you right now, it's some press coverage that's happening to these wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. It's a physical game right now. These Aztecs are looking to slow down their ability to run down the field at all costs.
I will say the numbers for Florida's defense for allowing passing yards is really going to catapult them to maybe being a top 10 defense after tonight, but they're going to take that with a grain of salt. That one is intercepted, and back the other way. Here comes a return all the way back. It's the Dumas show. Miranda Dumas gets the pick. Hey, Mike, she better be quarterback number 1 after this. And now both Dumases have touchdowns tonight.
Talk about your nail in the coffin. Miranda Dumas putting out the last light of hope that existed. The storm, as it were, has come to a halt. There is no wind. There is no rain. It is a perfectly clear Saturday night in Florida now.
Well, how about that? I got to get some confirmation from Mike Tags and check. Is she going to be quarterback number 1? Because she just got her first pick of her career, which also means that's her first pick 6 of her career. A massive congratulations to Miranda Dumas. And that's just a little icing on the cake.
And out of respect to Mike Tags, I have one simple question for you, Tyler.
What you got?
How many Hall of Famers are there that don't have a pick 6 on their resume?
I can think of one. I know where you're going with this.
Right? One.
We will spare that man a naming here, and a special thanks to our stat assistants Ron Haynes and Hall of Famer Eddie Gage in the stat truck for doing an excellent job on stats for us tonight. As the Storm now will have an opportunity to, well, they got a minute and 21. Still more things can happen. We can still see maybe Qualtzino Leah can get a pick 6. He's another guy that doesn't have a pick 6 on his resume. That's a brilliant catch. Climbing the ladder over a defender to haul that one in near the line to game.
And it's one of those showcase catches that you wish should come earlier in the night and been more consistent in happening. Covert throwing everything and the kitchen sink at this football game right now, but just his most valiant efforts have been too short.
Covert left side caught Vandalay diving forward to inside the 45-yard line, ruled down at the 44 of Mexico City. And Covert going to go back to the air again. Quick hitter. There's Ron Haynes. And this pretty much tells the tale of the tape for Ron Haynes this night. That's his first catch of the game. Pass left side. Vandalay knocked out by Jeffrey Daggs. 51 seconds to go in the game.
And it's really been a rough night for everyone in the Florida receiving core that's not named Art Vandalay. There's been plenty of times where Covert has been trying to spread this ball around, trying to get other people involved, but Shea Carroll and Ron Haynes with only 1 catch each, and Twinstry with only 4, despite how many times Covert has looked his way.
From the 29, Covert middle, Vandalay caught up the run on the slant. He's a yard shy. They're going to have to hurry up back to the line. They do. 40 seconds to go, and Sipe will clock it. And 4th and 1 coming up.
Florida finally eclipsing Mexico City in terms of total yards, but yards aren't everything. The scoreboard is everything. They're going to kick the field goal.
Well, what this will do with this field goal,
history.
No, he'll be one shy if he makes it. He does. That's his 299th made field goal of Ethan Snead's career, and well, he won't get the 300 field goal made mark tonight. Tune in next week for the game against Carolina for him to potentially become the second player in SFL history to hit 300. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Mexico City, stop it.
That's
Farley going to take the
already
onside kick back for a score. 2 kick return touchdowns tonight for the Aztecs, and that's just dirty.
That's so brutal, too. That's one of those that is just, he didn't even have to break a tackle or make a man miss. He just had the lane.
When a team plays this well, and another team just cannot match them in all facets of the game, these are the type of games that we see in any sport, in any league. Florida unable to match the caliber, to match the tenacity, to match, well, right now, the coaching and execution that Mexico City has demonstrated here today in all facets of the game.
Truly all facets of the game. And that also, with that last score there, Mexico City will make a new record in a new number of ignominy in the most points allowed record at home for Florida. Now Mexico City now surpassing the previous record of 44 set by Vancouver in season 20. The new mark to beat in this house is 48.
At least it's not a double whammy for Florida, but now well, here's the thing. Now after this game here, Alex, with that, the Florida Storm have now allowed most points allowed at home and away to Mexico City in their franchise history. What other team can say that?
That's wild.
Spike there by Covert. And this was, I was coming into the game thinking this is a rubber match. Florida and Mexico City have played each other 14 times and have beaten each other each 7 times apiece. We were expecting a much closer game tonight.
So much closer. Historically, these two teams have been a very contentious matchup, 1- and 2-score games throughout most of their matchup history. This is a result that we have not seen in years, literal years.
Last game they just played last season, a 7-point margin of victory, 27-20. Past 3 meetings before that, though, 10 or more points. Passing middle caught by Twin Screw. They have to hurry back to the line quickly. 5 seconds to go. They might not get the ball off in time. And indeed they won't. We've finally gone final. A trouncing in all sense of the word. Aztecs 48, Florida 19. Good grief.
Oof.
Alex, walk us through this one.
Truly, it is a tale of Mexico City having the better game plan, not just on both sides of the football, but also on special teams. They came locked in, ready to win. They wanted this so badly, and they were preparing like the Florida Storm were the Florida Storm of old. If only the Florida Storm of old had shown up tonight. This is an instance where the back-to-back champs are looking exactly as tough as you would expect. Ray Bentley with a monstrous performance tonight, almost 5 yards per carry on 22 handles. Jordan Sipe only needs to sling the ball a total of 6 times to be able for his team to score 48 points at the end of it. Are you kidding? What a complete showing by the Aztecs.
It's a new era of football here in the SFL, and the Aztecs come away with the victory. We'll see you Monday night for the Monday Night Spectacular, and this week in the SFL with Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty and Mike St. Green, myself and Chris Curtis. We hope to see you then. For all of us here on the Virtual Football Network, we'll see you next time. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.